Hey guys, Mike for Sim Racing 604, and this is my Moza FSR2 wheel. It is the successor to the FSR wheel, and this one is frankly the most feature-rich wheel I own. Mind-blowing features on board this thing. Retails for $649, available now, and here's my review. Okay, so as mentioned, this is my Moza Racing FSR2 wheel. Super impressive wheel. I've had this for a few weeks now. Moza sent me this in December, but they decided to chill for the holidays and push the embargo back to January. So I've had a lot of time to race with this. A lot of the videos you would have seen from me use this wheel, just kept off camera. But I've had a ton of time with it, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. But Moza Racing did send me this for review, free of charge, I should let you know. But no money changed hands. I don't offer affiliate links. And of course, the words and thoughts are my own. So $650, which is the same price as the outgoing wheel. But this has a number of the outgoing FSR wheel, I should say. But this has a number of new features. Not least, this is a touchscreen display, and I'll show that to you when I get my wheelbase up here in a second. But it's a trend. It's a way that Moza has been going of late. The Vision GS wheel, which you can probably see in the background, also had a touchscreen display, but this, of course, is a 16:9 display, but still compatible with the custom dashes that you can build within the Pithouse software. And then you can scroll through different pages of screens, which is very, very cool. Where to start with the features? All right, so I've got some written down just behind this box here, so I'm going to go through this. So aluminum in the back, as you would expect. It's got the big quick release back here. You can also see, since we're back here, we'll talk about it. They've added a couple of paddles. So previously, the FSR had the analog paddles here, which they still have. These are carbon fiber. And then they had two shift paddles here. Moza has upgraded to include more magnetic shifters up top. Those are commonly used for things like DRS, maybe a KERS boost, something like that. But just the same, the paddle count is now 6. So we got the 2 analogs and then the 4 magnetic shifted paddles up top. Flipping it around, oh, and I should also mention, it has this port back here. You can run a cable from this port over to your USB hub, and then you can use this with third-party wheelbases, which is really cool. We've got perforated leather grips up front here. Again, touchscreen display at the center here. Moza has upgraded the sticks. These are now, don't call them funky switches, but 7-way switches, rotary, push, etc., etc. So very cool, nice little upgrade there. You can see all the carbon fiber up front. It's very, very nice. It's got these rotary encoders here. What else can we talk about? It has 10 lighted buttons here with a nice weight to them. The dials at the bottom, we got 5 of them. Yeah, what else can we talk about? I think that's most of the features. Oh, we have, importantly, we have tachometer lights across the top. This is not something new. The old outgoing FSR had these as well. However, they have added telemetry lights here. Pretty cool. So you can get things like flags. You can get even information like when you're experiencing wheel slip or when traction control is engaged. It's a handy feature, actually. If you're losing time to your opponents coming out of corners, is it your traction control? You can have this flash bright red or something like that to let you know traction control is engaged and maybe taking time away from you. So that's it. 280 mil at the widest point here. What else can we talk about? I think that's it. It's a 4.3-inch display, and again, just incredibly feature-rich. There's a lot going on here between the carbon fiber and the new paddles on the back and the touchscreen display, 4.3-inch at the center. I mean, this just has a ton on offer, and I think for $650, yeah, it's pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and get my wheelbase up here. I'll plug this in and just quickly show you the touchscreen display functionality. And then we'll get it on. We'll talk about the customization options in Pithouse, and then we'll drive it. Okay, so I've got my R16 masked behind this giant wheel. Just did want to show you the touchscreen options here. So as you can see, we can flip through different pages and different sub pages, and you know, it's as easy as a flick of the finger. We also have the ability to build custom dashes, which I'm going to show you shortly. So you can flip through all of that as you desire, just using your fingers. So pretty cool. And you can see the lighted buttons there. We can customize the colors of those. I think there's 16.7 million or whatever the standard figure is for modern LEDs. That's all customizable in the software, and we'll go ahead and jump in now and I can show you some of that. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the Moza Pithouse software here with this FSR V2 wheel. As you can see, it's all registering fine. You can see all the buttons being pressed, etc. All to the good. If we go into the wheel settings here, we have a number of options. So as you can see, when I push the left paddle, that paddle travel is going to 100%, as is the right. But you can also set them as toggle. It's just on or off, or axis combined, where I have to push this one to get 50% and this one to get 100%. So you can set it how you like. I usually leave it as axis split. Let's see the band knob mode. So what that is, as you can see, as I'm rotating this dial, which is labeled mix on my wheel, I can go 12, 11, 11, blah, blah, blah. And that would be for something like, you know, you want independent traction control settings. You want to be able to look at your wheel and say, hey, that's setting number 8. Great. Or if you go knob, then I just have plus and minus. So if you're the type of person that doesn't need necessarily the individual settings, you can just dial something up or down. You can do that. Stick mode, button or D-pad, so that refers to this. And then, of course, we can get, if we scroll further down, we can set our button brightness here. It won't matter for the purposes of this video, but you can adjust the brightness of your buttons. Well, you might be able to see it kind of disappear. There we go. So it's off right now, and you can set that all the way up to 15. It goes at 12 by default, and that seems bright enough. LED brightness, I like to turn that up. Nice bright telemetry LEDs and RPM LEDs flashing in my face. Yeah. Let's see, you can reset it here. You can calibrate paddles, which I've had to do a number of times, not with this particular wheel, but with the Pithouse software, sometimes you do have to do that. Let's look at RPM LEDs. So we can set custom right now. The reason these are set the way they are is to match the Porsche, the 992 Porsche GT3. But you can customize these how you like and get an LED setup for yourself, which you enjoy. And oh, something I missed here is that if we mouse over these lights, and will you be able to see it? I don't know. Let's look at this yellow one labeled box. If I change this to red, you can see it turn red in real life. Wow, what a feature. But you can set those up how you like. And again, getting back to the RPM LEDs, you can set these how you like as well, and choose the flashing interval even. Telemetry LEDs, same thing. Instead of talking about the RPM LEDs across the top, we are talking about the telemetry LEDs on the side here. So as you can see, all turned off right now. And you can turn these on if you want it to flash when you're in the pits. Cool. Let's say DRS on, which is actually a really good one. I like that option. So we could turn that on, yellow flags, blue flag, etc., etc. And then the LEDs on the side of your wheel will show information to you. So pretty cool, very nicely done. But then at the center of your screen, of course, we have this dash. So let's talk a bit more about this dashboard. So going into the dashboard settings, as you can see, I kind of cheated here. I already built one. You can build these custom dashes. And I'll just go ahead and play this. So that means it's going to show up here. You can see that I have the Nürburgring Nordschleife, displayed here. And I just have the one page, but you can scroll through others. If you bring up this dash, for example, you can scroll through. So it's got tire information. You can see lap time here, or you can choose to see the throttle, brake, gear, speed, etc. This one's not great. This is built mostly for the Vision GS wheel. That's why it's a circle. Hopefully you guys can see that. But if I bring up this one here, you can see it has different information, but I can also just scroll through them this way. And you can see that being shown in the Pithouse software as well as I flip through them. So yeah, that is how we can adjust different things. And just quickly, I did want to show you that I can edit this. So this is mine. You can edit any of them, but if I just click the edit button, it's going to bring up a giant display which covers my whole setup here. But if I bring that back to center, hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, so I can choose instead of current, I can adjust anything. So let's say I wanted my gear display smaller. I can do that. I would have to adjust the text size. Let's say we make that 200 instead. There we go. And then we want to center. And there you go. So we just made our gear smaller. And let's say we wanted another gear indicator. Well, that's a bad example, but let's say we wanted a speedometer. Have to scroll over. Software is a bit cumbersome. I can choose to add, where is it here? There we are. Okay, I can choose to add speed. There we are. Is that what I said I was going to do? Anyway, whatever I want. And there it creates another speed indicator for you. And we can center this and change the text to whatever we want. I want something red, let's say. Hey, guess what? We have red text, etc., etc. So basically limitless customization options here. As you can see, you can add images. You also, for the first time, have the option to add videos. I don't know what exactly you would do with that just yet, but just the same, pretty cool that you can customize all of that. All right, so time to drive now with the FSR2. We're going to get this on track and check it out. Okay, so here we are in Assetto Corsa Competizione. And here in the pits in the Porsche. The reason I chose this 992 Porsche is because if I've done this right, I can't really tell. It's a bit tough to see on my screen right now, but the tachometer LEDs should match. And as you can see, I've got flashing lights here. Reason being is I am in the pits. So probably, hopefully, when I leave the pits, those pit indicators should switch off. Let's see if I've done this right. And indeed, thankfully there's no telemetry lights for smacking into a wall unprovoked. All right, so thoughts on driving, and you can see the dash display there, the custom one that I built. You can see it has pulled up the Monza dash. I didn't have to do anything, or the Monza map, I should say. I didn't have to do anything, and that does show. So very good. Shifts are very, very fast. The onboard processor does a good job. You can't see it on the screen, but I've got speed and RPM, and both matching what I'm seeing in game, and very, very good response. Overall, tremendous ergonomics. I just realized I've got this set up wrong, and my in-game wheel does not match the rotation of my real-life wheel, but that's fine. That's a configuration thing for me. Not anything wrong with the actual wheel. But it is very comfortable, as you can probably notice if you look very, very carefully. I've got no gloves on, and I'm driving comfortably with this perforated leather. I probably overall prefer the smooth leather of the I can see it now. So the telemetry LEDs do match what's in game in terms of the red light point. I could set it up, by the way, to come from the outside. The way we see the telemetry lights in the game behave is that they build from the outside in, and I could set that up in Pithouse. That's no problem. But yeah, no gloves here, and very, very comfortable. I like the smooth leather of the Vision GS wheel a little bit more in terms of comfort. However, the perforated leather here with this FSR2 wheel does feel very, very good. So do I have anything set up as far as traction control? No, I totally forgot to, but that's okay. Just trust me when I say these dials do work, should you need them. But you guys know how a sim racing wheel works generally. I can tell you this is a fantastic one. It feels really, really nice in my hand. and it behaves beautifully. It's got enough options, enough buttons that I could do anything I wanted with this Porsche. In fact, I'm going to do more. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so now I have a traction control. As you can see, I rotate it and my traction control goes up and down. Pretty cool. ABS, same thing. You guys knew how that worked. You didn't need me to do that, but just the same, I did want to show you that it is all there. So I can flip through mid-session and find a more appropriate dash if I want. Something that more emulates, whoops, that's not going to be recovered. Oh, I did recover it. Something that more emulates what I'm seeing on my screen. Currently gives me all that telemetry. Could I look on the screen and see it? Of course I can, but still pretty cool to see something here. Maybe I have enough on my screen, and I instead just want a big old Sim Racing 604 logo, or I can flip over and get a bit more on lap time, whatever I want. So very cool to have that touchscreen ability here, and all the while enjoying the great ergonomics of the FSR2 wheel. Just feeling fantastic. My last lap and best lap are showing some interesting things. Let me cross the start-finish line here, make sure that resets, make sure I didn't just discover a bug with this wheel, but I have a feeling that just the default setup for this particular dash, or default settings rather, for this particular dash doesn't do well. There's something coded wrong for last lap and best lap when you haven't set a lap. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so now we have a proper lap, and we've got Delta and everything on our screen. And interestingly, you can see it, but there is a Sim Racing 604 logo there, which I love to see. So fully customizable dashboards. Very, very cool. All right, I think you have seen enough and probably by this point know how a steering wheel works. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my final thoughts on the Moza Racing FSR2 wheel. All right, so time to talk about the good, the neutral, and the bad. Things I like, things I'm just kind of okay with, and things I don't like about the Moza Racing FSR2 wheel. So the first one is the amount of buttons and paddles and dials and rotary encoders, etc. It is huge. So if you're somebody who likes to have traction control presets and, maybe you drive formula cars, modern formula cars that have a bunch of different KERS options or ERS options, deploy modes, recovery modes, this is going to have you covered. I can imagine this would take the place of button boxes for a lot of people. There's just so much you can do with this wheel. Super impressive amount of buttons and ways to interact with the wheel. And we also talk about the materials. This is something Moza has worked hard on as a company. Aluminum, carbon fiber, leather, carbon fiber paddles. There's a lot of really, really nice materials used in the build of this wheel. It does not feel cheap whatsoever. And to go with the materials, we also talk about build quality. The build quality is fantastic. There's no ugly seams, no bad fit and finish that I can see. Everything's got a good weight to it. It doesn't rattle. It's just really nicely assembled, really nicely put together. And of course, we also have to talk about the screen, the 4.3-inch screen at the center. It's nice and bright, easy to read, no concerns with that display whatsoever. And of course, we can customize that in the Pithouse software. The Pithouse software is excellent, seems to get better over time, and allows quick customization of button colors. And, whether you want this to be 10 or 12, whatever it is, unique positions. So if you want to just quickly rotate to traction control level 6, you can do so. Or if you want it to be just a plus and a minus, you can do that too. So huge levels of customization possible with just a few clicks. The Pithouse software is excellent. And the custom dashes are a nice touch. Yeah, sure, it would be nice to be able to use SimHub, but at the same time, the ability to make custom dashes and get things to your liking, get your logo, get your favorite car, build it how you like, see what you like, is a nice feature and a nice upgrade from the outgoing FSR. We also talk about button feel. The buttons all have a nice weight to them. The dials and coders, etc. feel really, really good. Good weight to them, good, solid. Detent maybe is the right word. The funky switches feel good. Everything feels really nice. Good weight and a lot quieter throw on the paddles as well. Good magnetic shift. smooth travel of the analog pedals, no concerns whatsoever with the feel of any of the functions of the wheel. And then the value, difficult to put a $650 video game accessory into the good category, but at the same time, for what you get, I don't know that there's many options on the market that can touch this. And if there are, they're few and far between. $650 for a wheel like this, in my opinion, does present value. You're not talking to the average sim racer, that's for sure. For $650, you're talking to somebody who has thousands to spend on their overall setup. But to that person, I think this offers a good value, and Moza did a good job coming to market at this price. And also, we talk about the LEDs. The LEDs are nice and bright. It's good to have that telemetry function now. The tachometers are nice and bright, giving you that shift indicator. It's very well done. And lastly, we talk about the quick release. This is all anyone ever needs. So many manufacturers come to market with their own unique quick releases, and good for them. There's nothing wrong with that. Innovation is always good. Moza has kept it simple. This is the same style of quick release they offered years ago. They've stuck with it. It's solid. It's reliable. I've had zero issues with it. It's wireless, of course, and is one of my favorite things about Moza overall is the fact that they have stuck with this quick release. Very solid, even when using a big wheelbase like this. So nicely done to Moza on that. In the neutral category, the only thing I really have is more just food for thought, is this wheel seems quite focused on its display. It's one of the bigger selling features. The marketing I've seen thus far for this wheel has focused on that touchscreen display. And my bigger question is, are you going to use it? You know, you have dash displays that can sit on your wheelbase back here. You have heads-up displays in your game. Are you going to actually look down, take the focus off your screen and look down at your wheel? Or maybe you run VR and won't be able to see it at all. So they have kind of hung their hat to a degree on this center display. Is it nice? Yes, absolutely. But I put it in the neutral category because I think there's a focus, and it's not just Moza, by the way. I think there's a focus in the sim racing hardware world on making this display a centerpiece, but I don't know that many sim racers will make it a primary source of information. Is it good to have? Yes, but I'm more prone to, or I'm more appreciative of a good set of LED lights to tell me when to shift than I am to have a lap time displayed on my wheel display. I'm not going to take my eyes off my screens, which sit at whatever it is, 50, 60 centimeters from me, bring my focus back to, call it 40 centimeters, just to get a small piece of information, and then go back to my screens at 60 centimeters because it's going to take my eyes just that second. I've got old man eyes, and yeah, it's going to take my eyes a second to adjust. So, shouldn't make it your whole personality, I guess is what I'm saying. And in the bad category, the only thing I have to say is it would have been nice if we had that SimHub integration. SimHub is the de facto race information or dash display, I should say, source. And I would love to see Moza start to work with them. It's not as if they don't work with other big names in the sim racing space. It would be nice if there was a Moza tab on the stage left. It would be nice if there was a Moza tab in SimHub that you could just click. You could see your wheel, you could see your dash display, whatever it is, and throw a dash to that. I hope to see that in future, but that's really the only negative thing I have to say. Overall, this is the nicest wheel I own. I love my FSR. The FSR2 just takes that to the next level. It's so good. I don't have any complaints. I've had lots of time to play with this, and it's held up beautifully. The build quality is excellent. The materials are fantastic, and it does everything it promises to do. I really love this, and it gets a strong recommendation from me. This is a fantastic wheel, and if you're in the Moza ecosystem or not and are willing to buy the USB hub, I think it's a great wheel. $650 isn't for everyone, but for those who have the money for, you know, a wheelbase that might cost $1,000 to $2,000, you can probably squeeze $650 into the budget for a wheel like this and never look back. I love this, and look forward to many years of use. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Moza for sending me the wheel, and we will see you next time.